Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Crime Rush. I'm Inga and thank you so much for clicking on this video and tuning in for another story today. If you're feeling nice, please smash that like button to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, and also if you enjoy this content, consider subscribing. So today's topic, two educators who happen to be best friends too are facing some serious charges after getting down and dirty with their students. Okay, and teacher-student relationships have been happening, let's get real, probably since teachers and students were a thing, but lately it seems to be like a pandemic. Every other month we hear of a teacher being charged for having an inappropriate relationship with a student. But probably the most interesting and shocking thing about it lately is that the offenders seem to be women very often now. So before we go any further, please note that I get all my information from public sources, and also this content may be upsetting to some people, especially parents, so please proceed with caution. The two girls up on the screen are former American teachers, and their names are Railey Greeson and Shuler. Both worked at Calhoun City Schools in Georgia in the US. Railey Greeson, 23 years of age, and 24-year-old Shuler are best friends, and both were indicted by a Georgia grand jury on the 27th of June 2024. The indictment states that both women, and I quote, did knowingly engage in sexual intercourse and sexually explicit conduct with the students. Railey was charged with 2 counts of sexual contact by employee or agent in the first degree, and Brooklyn was charged with 1 count of the same charge. Both of them were arrested on the 27th of June of 2024 and released the following day on bond. Railey allegedly had sex with 2 different male students between October of 2021 and January of 2022. And Brooklyn had sex with 1 male student also between October of 2021 until January of 2022. Now, I need you to remember those timelines because we are going to get back to that in a sec. Also, I'm saying allegedly because they have not been found guilty in a court of law yet. So until then, it's going to be reportedly and allegedly. The students' ages have not been disclosed, but it is suspected that they are over 16 because there are no statutory charges. And the legal age of consent in Georgia is 16 years of age, okay? But this is still a crime, okay? Because Georgia law, and I quote, forbids people in authority, including foster care parents, jailers, hospital workers, psychotherapists, and school employees from sexual conduct with those placed under their authority. Now, I have to point this one thing out because this immediately stood out to me. Did these 2 friends plan this together? Did they plan on entering into these inappropriate relationships with students together? Why do I say that? Because look at the timeline. Both of them committed these offenses between October of 2021 until January of 2022. That's pretty specific, okay? And both of them did it at the same time? Really, they were best friends. They were both teachers. They were each other's maid of honors. So yes, they were both married too. And they both decided to do this with their students at the same time. That seems a little suspicious. And if they planned this, how does that type of planning go down? What would that even look like? I pictured myself just phoning my best friend and going, hey, do you want to go and get into an inappropriate relationship with students with me? Okay, and I'm sure it wasn't worded like that or happened like that, but you know what I mean, okay? And I can promise you, without a doubt in my mind, my best friend would go, what the F are you thinking? Go get help. And I thank God every day that I have friends like that because this is just bizarre. And now we have some interesting statements too from parents of children who attended the schools where Railey and Brooklyn were employed. Audrey Decker, whose stepdaughter attended one of these schools where Railey and Brooklyn were employed, said to the New York Post, and I quote, "I'm not trying to stereotype, but you could look at them and tell they were trouble. They just seemed boy crazy, and everyone in the school knew it and joked about it." End quote. Another mother gave a statement and said, I quote, "Ugh, they were flirts. You should have seen them with any attractive parents who came to the school. They would flirt with any of the dads. You know, laughing too loud, getting too close, that type of thing. Flirting, trying to be cute. They were shameless." End quote. That's really not a great look for a teacher or any educator of any kind, okay? And it seems to me from all of these statements and everything we've heard so far that these women were desperate for attention. And I think we all know women like that. I think we've all known a person who's so desperate for attention and acts that way. And it can be quite annoying, right? But to look for that attention from students, from young boys, that's really low. And let me remind you, both of these women are married. They are technically still newlyweds. They are supposed to still be in the honeymoon phase. Hello? I mean, Brooklyn got married in November of 2022 and Railey got married in October of 2023. That's like the other day. Can you imagine how their husbands must have reacted to this news? I mean, I can't even picture it. I can't imagine telling my husband that I did something like this. It's just shocking. Both Railey and Brooklyn could face up to 25 years in prison or $100,000 fine each if convicted of these charges. And now I want to talk about the sad part about all of this, and that's the victims, okay? And if I have to hear another person say something like, oh, it's not the same when a woman does it to a boy than when a man does it to a girl, then I'm going to lose my mind. Or comments like, oh, lucky boys, or that's any teenage boy's dream. Okay, I'm a mother. I have a son, and I guarantee you that the parents of those boys do not feel that way. Okay, and I definitely wouldn't feel that way. My son is moving into his teenage years now, and you best believe if they had an inappropriate relationship with my son,
I would be coming for those women.
And yes, I know that teenagers have hormones that run wild and that boys, teenage boys, often have fantasies about their teachers or other inappropriate relationships. But that doesn't mean that for that fantasy to become a reality is beneficial to the child or the young man. In fact, research shows that it is extremely damaging. They become over-sexualized way too young. They later on struggle to settle into normal relationships, and the list just goes on. It has a deep psychological impact on the young man. And honestly, it is just disgusting. This is a grown woman, she's married, and she is doing this with a student. I mean, he has his whole life ahead of him. He doesn't need this drama in his life, but he doesn't have enough life experience the same way she should have. Okay, she's also still young, but she's the adult here, and she should have known better. And this just shouldn't happen, but unfortunately it does. And I'm thinking back to when I was in high school. I remember there were rumors floating around about 2 girls that I can think of that were having inappropriate relationships with a teacher. But I don't know if it was true. But I actually met a woman a bit later on in my life that had a relationship with a student, and she actually felt pregnant and spent time behind bars for it. And she's now raising that child, and she has no relationship with the student. He's obviously a grown-up now. But it just shows you this happens all the time. It happens everywhere, and it's really a big problem. But how do we stop this, and what is the solution to it? I don't have the answer. I would love to know if you have an opinion on this. But I will say this, and this is what I truly believe and what I live by as a parent. You need to be vigilant, and you need to watch your child. I don't care if they are 18, if they are under your roof and they are still in school, they don't need privacy. They can have privacy when they move out and start their own lives, okay? You need to guide them. You need to talk to them about this stuff and tell them about cases like this and what the consequences really are so that they understand, and really explain the gravity of the situation to them, and just to lead by example, to show them what a kind, good, morally correct person is supposed to look like. And hey, we can only guide them for as long as we have them in our home. And then we have to trust and pray that they will grow up and follow the path that we hope they will, that they will become great, successful adults. And I don't mean successful in the sense of having lots of money and a good job. That's a great bonus if it's there. I mean successful in the terms of being a good person and just with good morals. That's my hopes and dreams for my son. But I'm really interested to hear your take on this. Have you thought of any solutions, perhaps any laws that could prevent this, or perhaps a better screening process when schools employ educators? Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are. I always love interacting with you. But I think this is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please make sure you stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.